Messaging, the core of our market launch. Creating and delivering the right message is exactly what we need at our market launch. However, it's not that simple. Why? Simply because there are so many factors that you create, that you develop in a market launch that can distract people from your message and can distract you to deliver the right message. That's why after our series of the first 3 videos talking about these strategic components, now we're starting core elements of our market launch, starting with the most important one for me, which is communication, messaging, what to say, when to say, to whom. The first point that I want to talk about today is why we need to actually care for messaging in a market launch and why is this different to any other marketing tool. I will say that marketing launches have both a challenge and beautiful perspective to it. The challenging point is that you are actually having in one single place at the same time many things that kind of force you to deliver an entire communication strategy for many people at one specific moment. We are not doing things for one individual, we're doing things for many individuals. We are delivering a customer experience for many people. You have to deliver a presentation where you actually create a very specific offer and call to action for specific people. So that's the beauty, that you have many communication objectives all at once. But of course, that's a challenge because you need to have everything in your head very clear, very focused, so you don't get distracted and people don't get distracted. That's why it's so important to spend some time in actually thinking what is exactly what you're going to say, for whom, what is the purpose, and what is the call to action that you want people to follow after the event. Now, what to say, what to prepare. How I advise to do it is after we have developed the moments of truth, based on what we saw in the last video. If in case you haven't seen it, I recommend you to watch it. We imagine which are the most important moments of truth, meaning the specific interactions of a person with our brand in which we think is important to deliver a message. For example, when a person enters, the first contact that we have with the registration point, then, for example, the first presentation of the brand, and in the end, perhaps an experience that connects more emotionally with your call to action, for example. Of course, you can have many others. What is important is that the message that comes across is always related to a brand attribute that you need to communicate. If you want to talk about, for example, in the case that the recent event that I attended, which was the launch of the birthday of Antonieta's atelier, the first message was about, look at all the experience, the brand experience that we created for you. We want to give you this oasis of peace and emotions. The emotional part was always present. Which, by the way, it was an amazing event. Thank you, Antonieta. It was lovely. And I just love the way that she actually delivered all these messages in an experiential way. Even from the registration point of view, you see all the elements that come across with one single concept, which was emotions in this point. In this case. Now we think about how are we going to start connecting with people with our brand concept from the very moment that they enter the room. Now the challenge is that it's not only your client, but actually many users who are going to start thinking about your brand in many different moments in that event. So how are you going to start connecting? The formula that I like to use is the AIDA formula, or the AIDA framework, which I've talked in many other videos, which is very simple to remember. We have the attention, which is the hook, which in a speech can be simply a question, can be simply a statistic, can be an emotional hook, a visual hook, or an experience where people just simply make a pause and has to think about you. Then we have the interest, which is the specific problem that this person has, and we really need to relate about what is this person is dealing with that we are solving. The desire is the specific offer that we are actually having for our client, so she or he can actually follow us or be persuaded of this specific action. And of course, action. Action is simply the behavior that we want people to do after our event, and that's the most difficult part. persuasion. And sometimes we forget. So when we are in an event, we see, everything is so nice, everything is so beautiful. And then what? Yes, we know that that's exactly the offer, the solution to our problem. Amazing. What do you want me to do afterwards? Should I subscribe? Should I do something? Should I go to another event? And get immediately into the registration, get immediately into the action, so people don't lose the momentum and you lose the impact of your event. So for delivering the key messaging, it's very important to have in mind that it's not about you delivering the right message. It's about the other person understanding the right message coming from you. In other words, put yourself in the shoes of the person that you want to talk to. Imagine what is the problem that this person is having, and imagine if the offer that you are selling is attractive enough, how is this person going to buy or going to behave in the way you want? So all this process comes this specific persuasive way that where you can actually achieve a specific call to action. Remember, the right message is not only the one that sounds the prettiest, it's the one that gets into the heart of someone because makes them feel something specific, makes them relate to something specific. So that's exactly what we need to do. Last but not least, I want to give you an advice of how to deliver, how to create messages for the community, for the general community. As I have mentioned, you are targeting many people or diverse people. You're not going to have only clients, customers, or users of your brand. You're going to have many different people that perhaps can spread the message or recommend you or share the offer that you have with other people. For that, if you have the sustainable development goals in your head, it's actually very useful and a way to create this resonance with big institutions. The way you do it is you actually read these goals. You can find them very easily online. And then you start thinking how you can actually contribute to every single goal. You read them and you try to translate your brand mission using some of the keywords or some of the ways that these sustainable development goals are actually working. In this way, you're not only starting to resonate with the goals in a more operational way, but you're going to start talking in the same way with using the same language as the institutions that work with these goals. In a simple way, see which are the goals that are more important to you, see which are the forms where you can actually translate your work into these goals, and simply put in the key messaging of your problem and the solution of this problem, some of these words in the way that you are actually contributing to make this goal happen. This is a way in which people will resonate with you and you can feel that your project will help society in a bigger way. Finally, the recommendation is always be specific, always think of your heroes or the people that you want to help. It's not about you, it's about the message that you want to come across. And remember, this message needs to be clear, needs to go to the point, needs to try and persuade someone to have a specific action towards the same goal as you have. And most importantly, this message needs to be memorable, needs to have an emotional tone that not only make people remember, but also make people connect with their heart and your heart, so you can all go to the same goal. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and see you next time in my next video. Keeping inspired.